On the 14th of May, a couple weeks back, a friend of mine, a guy that I work with up the mountain, he's an electrical maintenance worker on Whistler Mountain. He was driving around in a snowmobile and he heard a bear cub making some loud noises from a location that he was checking out. And it turned out to be a baby cub, cub of the year, very small, about 10 pounds. And the mother was standing by. This baby cub had gotten himself stuck in a what we call sea netting, crowd control fencing, and he was really wrapped up in it. And the fellow's name is Tim Rempel. He called me up and said, "Hey, listen, this is the situation up here. Why don't you come up here with Hector, and we can use Hector to keep the mother bear." Yeah, Hector the dog. We can use Hector to keep the mother bear off while you cut the cub out of the netting. So I agreed to come up there and see what the situation was, and I thought I better leave Hector behind just so he doesn't escalate the situation. And so when I went up there to check it out, sure enough, the mother bear was there, standing near the cub, and the cub was really, really entangled in the fencing, like really entangled in the fencing. So like I say, I left Hector behind because I thought he would just escalate the situation. And just judging by the body language of the mother bear, she wasn't threatening at all. She had a really, I've tried, I can't do anything for my cub, and the cub was really bawling, making a lot of noise. And so I sized up the situation and realized, or determined that there wasn't much threat to myself. So I quickly got in there with my scissors, got down to the cub, who was, as I said earlier, was really tangled up in the fencing. And not only was the bear cub tangled up in the fencing, but the fencing was wrapped around a tree, so they couldn't actually go anywhere. So he was really in a bad situation. And so as I got in there with my scissors, and the bear was quite anxious on my approach. I'm talking about the cub now. I mean, she was really flailing away in this stuff and getting more and more tangled. Anyways, I just got my scissors in there and started making cuts to the netting, and it took quite a while. It probably took about 5 minutes, and I probably had to make 12 to 15 cuts to this netting, and I mean, it was really in there. Like, I had to, pry the string off of the bear's flesh and get in there with the scissors and snip away at it. And during all this time, Tim was standing back behind me, sort of keeping an eye on the situation, and he was warning me that the mother bear was approaching. But every time I looked up, I'd see her, and she got within about 3 meters. Probably the closest she ever got me was about 3 meters, and there wasn't an ounce of aggression in her body. She was just like, exactly like you would imagine a human mother would be over her cub. Like, what's going on there? Can I help? Is everything okay? Is she going to be okay? It was a really interesting situation. Just a really unique situation. And I really feel blessed to have been able to, be in a position to, I mean, I honestly believe I saved that bear's life. There was no doubt in my mind that bear would have died there. I mean, not only was she that entangled in the netting, but the fact that the netting was tied around the tree meant that, they couldn't go anywhere to get, I mean, the more the bear struggled, the more it was getting tangled up in the netting. So that's kind of the long and short of that story.